Hello everyone. Today, we are looking at a true heavyweight champion of the battlefield. It's called the M240. If you have seen movies about the US military in the last 40 years, you have seen this gun. It's that big black metal beast mounted on top of tanks, hanging out the side of helicopters, or being carried by the strongest guy in the infantry squad. But why are we talking about it? Because in a world where technology moves fast, this machine has stayed almost the same for decades. It is the workhorse of the United States military and its NATO allies. It fires a big bullet, it kicks hard, and most importantly, it almost never ever breaks. Today, using the amazing visuals from World of Guns, Gun Disassembly, we are going to look inside this metal beast. We will see where it came from, how it works, and why soldiers are willing to carry this heavy piece of steel up mountains. To understand the M240, we have to go back to the 1950s. While America was listening to Elvis, a Belgian company called FN Herstal designed a machine gun called the MAG. It was a brilliant design. Meanwhile, the United States was using the famous M60 machine gun, the one you see Rambo holding in the movies. The M60 was iconic, but it had problems. It was lighter, yes, but it was finicky. It needed a lot of care. By the 1970s, the U.S. Army needed a new gun to put on their tanks. The old ones were jamming constantly. So they held a competition. They took the American M60 and pitted it against this Belgian newcomer. The results were shocking. They measured reliability by mean rounds between failure. Basically, how many bullets can you shoot before a part breaks? The M60 could fire about 1,600 rounds before something broke. The Belgian gun? It fired over 6,400 rounds without a failure. It wasn't even close. The Belgian gun was declared the winner. In 1977, the U.S. Army adopted it and renamed it the M240. At first, it was just used on tanks, but it was so good that the infantry eventually looked at the tankers with jealousy and said, "We want that one too." So, how does this machine actually work? Let's look at the animation. The M240 shoots a large bullet, the 7.62 by 51 millimeters NATO round. This is much more powerful than the bullets used in a standard soldier's rifle. It is fed into the gun using a long belt of ammunition that looks like a metallic snake. One of the most interesting things about this gun is that it fires from an open bolt. Here is what that means in simple terms. In a normal rifle, the internal parts are closed and tight before you pull the trigger. In the M240, when the gun is ready to fire, the bolt, the heavy metal block inside, is locked all the way to the back. The breech is wide open. When you pull the trigger, that heavy bolt slams forward, picks up a bullet from the belt, shoves it into the barrel, and boom, fires it, all in one motion. Why do they do this? Because machine guns get hot. Very, very hot. By keeping the bolt open between shots, air can flow through the barrel to cool it down. It prevents the bullets from exploding on their own just because the gun is too hot, a scary thing called a cook-off. Speaking of heat, that is the M240's main enemy. If you fire hundreds of rounds without stopping, the barrel will glow red. It can get hot enough to burn your skin instantly. That is why the M240 has a quick change barrel. There is a handle on the barrel. You press a button, unlock the handle, pull the hot barrel out, and slap a cold one in. A well-trained crew can do this in seconds, keeping the lead flying downrange. Over the years, the M240 has evolved into a whole family of weapons. Let's look at the different brothers and sisters in this family. First, the tanker, the M240 and M240C. This is the original. It hides inside tanks like the Abrams or the Bradley fighting vehicle. It doesn't have a stock or a trigger handle like a rifle. Instead, it uses electricity to fire. A solenoid pushes the trigger mechanism when the tank commander presses a button. Second, the Marine, the M240G. In the 1990s, the U.S. Marine Corps adopted the M240G. This is the infantry version. It has a buttstock so you can shoulder it, and a bipod to rest it on the ground. The Marines liked it because it was simple. It has a gas regulator with 3 settings. If the gun gets dirty and starts running slow, the Marine can turn the knob to gas setting 3 to force more gas into the system and keep it running. It's lighter because it doesn't have extra heat shields. Third, the Army Standard, the M240B. This is the Bravo model. This is what the Army chose to replace the M60 officially. It is heavier than the Marine version. It has heat shields over the barrel so soldiers don't burn their hands, and rails on top to mount scopes and lasers. It also has a special hydraulic buffer in the stock. Think of it like a shock absorber on a car. It makes the recoil feel softer so the soldier can shoot more accurately. But it usually only has one gas setting to prevent soldiers from messing with it and breaking the gun. Fourth, the rich cousin, the M240L. The biggest complaint about the M240B is the weight. It weighs nearly 28 pounds. That is a lot to carry on a 10-mile hike. So, the Army developed the M240L Lima. It looks the same, but it is made of titanium. Titanium is expensive and hard to work with, but it makes the gun 5.5 pounds lighter. So, why are we still using a design from the 1950s? Because on the battlefield, reliability is everything. The M240 is not the lightest gun. It's not the cheapest gun. But when you are in the mud, the sand, and the dirt, you need a gun that works every single time you pull the trigger. The M240 is rated for 26,000 mean rounds between failure. That is an incredibly high number. It is a machine that soldiers trust with their lives. Whether it is mounted on a Humvee, a boat, or carried by a tired soldier, the M240 does its job. It is a simple, brutal, effective piece of engineering. And thanks to games like World of Guns, we can appreciate the mechanical genius inside it without having to carry it for 20 miles. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this look at the M240, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments which legendary weapon you want to see next.